Welcome back to Cary, North Carolina, here on NCAA.com. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano with you as North Greenville and West Chester have been patiently waiting for their time to shine on the diamond. All of the other 8 teams have already competed once this week. The wait is over as North Greenville, your number 1 seed, West Chester, your only team that's ever won a national champion in this year's field, collide tonight here at Coleman Field. Let's get you introduced to the starters, as it will be Reese Fields who gets the starting nod out there on the mound. The sophomore, 9-2 on the year, makes his 19th start on the season. Opposing hitters batting .245, an ERA of 4.22, as he'll be facing the top third of this West Chester lineup, Zach Wright, Justin Horn, and Joe Calick. Joe Castellano, we've seen some entertaining ways for a baseball game to unfold over these first day and a half so far here in Cary.
Yeah, our first game today was a back-and-forth battle, and this should be a good matchup, even though you've got a number 1 seed in North Greenville against the number 8 seed in West Chester. The Golden Rams definitely have a lot of experience and, players that have, gotten them to this point, while North Greenville, they have been trying to break through to get to the Division II championship for the first time. And you go back to 2019 when they lost in 14 innings in the Super Regional to Catawba, and then they were the number 2 team in the nation in 2020 and COVID hit, and they lost in the regional to Wingate in 2021. It's been a long time coming for the Crusaders to make it here.
The weather has been remarkable as folks have continued to pour their way into the ballpark over these past 2 days. Winner of this will face Angelo State in 48 hours, while the loser will face elimination on Tuesday against the Penmen of Southern New Hampshire. Underway, the opening pitch to Zach Wright off the mark. As we mentioned, West Chester and Golden Rams, the last time we saw them win it all, we actually were not here. We were in Grand Prairie, Texas for 1 year, home of those Air Hogs in that minor league ballpark. West Chester would win it all, defeating an upset-minded group from San Diego, the Tritons of UCSD, before they transitioned to D1. West Chester has won the national title the last 2 times that they have come to the championship week. They went 4-0 in 2012 to win it all. They went 4-0 in 2017 to win it all. Technically, they have an 8-game winning streak once they get here. Obviously, it's a brand-new roster.
Yeah, and a newer coach, and Mike LaRosa, only in his 2nd season as their head coach. They don't have any players on their roster from that 2017 team, but they do have a lot of experience with quite a few grad students on their roster now.
Zach Wright at the plate, 2nd team All-Region, 1st team All-Conference East Division.
He's one of the grad students, by the way.
Zach hitting .311 on the year with 23 RBI, 3 home runs. We've seen some home run pop already in these first few ball games this weekend. Also seen some fantastic pitching, both from starters and in the bullpen. This one's going to find its way into the outstretched glove of Garrick Octavio.
That's a big out, too. Really nice play by Octavio. As Wright, if he gets on, he can steal a lot of bases. In fact, a lot of players in this lineup are able to steal, and we saw 6 stolen bases from Angelo State in our first game today. You wonder how many the Rams, the Golden Rams this time, could steal, because they are one of the top teams in Division II as far as stealing bases, 3rd in the nation with 154.
It's going to give way to another one of your grad students, the DH, Justin Horn. Horn out of Willow Grove, PA. Second team All-Conference East Division this year.
Look at the accolades he's had, because, I mean, look at his helmet. Every time you have an accolade, they put one of those stickers on there, and it's just covered with stickers. It's like, those guys who play for Ohio State.
Yep. I've always wondered if you shouldn't just show up in a spotless helmet with no accolades on it. And maybe the pitcher thinks he can throw you something fat right down the middle of the plate.
Maybe you could trade that helmet in for just one at bat. And then come back with a loaded one and say, no, yeah, this is my real resume.
But Reese Fields has been warned And he's unimpressed. A strikeout. They'll throw it down, 2 away. So Reese Fields retires the first 2 men. That much closer to getting NGU back into the dugout to bat.
That's a good breaking ball. He throws a slider, curve, changeup, cutter. His fastball 89 to 91. And Reese Fields was the Conference Carolina's pitcher of the year, and you can see why with that kind of stuff.
Here's Joe Kalick, the sophomore, out of Southampton, PA. Batting .278 on the year, 3 home runs, 31 RBI. He has been your everyday starter in this lineup. Your left fielder. If he can extend this inning, Mike Ferrara on deck. Again, these 2 teams have been patiently waiting, not just all of today, but all of yesterday. There's only so many things you need to post to your Instagram before you're ready to play some ball. They've been getting to know the area and this entire venue. Of course, there are 3 identical fields to this one surrounding us for the players to warm up on. And there's a game underway. Fantastic venue, training grounds of USA Baseball. 2-2. Home plate umpire Scott Wyckoff, joined by first base umpire Rick Cacciatore. Drew Eaton at second, and third base umpire tonight, Josh Gottlieb. First 2 batters retired. The 2-2 to Kalick. And the count goes full with 2 away.
Good contingent of fans for North Greenville. Their campus in Tigerville, South Carolina is about 4 hours away from here, about 250 miles.
Just north of Greenville. Payoff pitch. It's a 2-out walk for Kalick. So the sophomore does something a couple of PhD students can't do, and that's solve Reese Fields.
Well, Fields has definitely had his issues in recent outings. Walked 4 in his last outing in 6 innings.
Here's Mike Ferrara. He's familiar with this region. He started his career at UNC Greensboro before becoming a Golden Ram up in Pennsylvania. So that field in Grand Prairie, Texas had a swimming pool. If I recall correctly, Westchester got to take a little dip in it to celebrate. As Ferrara becomes the second straight man to receive a free pass with 2 outs. So he'll take that one off the left hand. Not the easiest way to go about it. Another look for you.
Yeah, there was nowhere to go.
Off the arm.
Yeah, it looked like it hit him on the biceps area, but it started to sting him on his hand. It was like a stinger.
Oh, that's less than ideal. We saw a couple of men getting hit on the hand today. They were able to shake it off, but yeah, you saw how it immediately impacted the feeling in his hand. He's your first baseman. It appears to be good to go. Well, without double checking, I feel like more than half the runs we've seen from our first 3 games this week have come with 2 outs, and that's exactly what Westchester has a chance to do here, to strike first here in the first inning.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of clutch hitting.
Here's Luke Cantwell. Cantwell out of Broomall, PA, the senior. He'll turn 23 in 5 days. Hopes to still be here for his birthday. Cosida Academic All-District this year, also second-team All-Conference in the East Division. 12 home runs this year, 52 RBI for Cantwell, looking for possibly a couple more here. Reese Fields retired the first 2 batters, a line out and a strikeout, but a walk and a hit batter have put 2 aboard. The walk to Kalick. Ferrara hit by a pitch a moment ago. Only third base unoccupied. The 0-2 to Cantwell. This will be close and just out of play to the berm, beyond the reach of Merritt Kloop out there in right. Kloop in right field, Josh Center in center. Ethan Stringer in left. Your infielders, Pat Monteith's your third baseman for North Greenville. Corey Bivens at short. Garrick Octavio had a great play earlier this inning at second. Jordan Holliday at first, and Jax Cash is your backstop, catching Reese Fields right now. As the count remains 0-2 to Cantwell, the fifth batter this inning, the third to come up with 2 outs. Fields looking for that elusive third out. Runners going. They'll have to retreat.
We'll see runners going a lot in this game. You've got 2 teams here that had to really battle hard to get out of their region, the Super Regional. Both of them went to a third decisive game. And the Golden Rams, they were able to beat East Stroudsburg in their Super Regional, while North Greenville beat Columbus State, and that was in their Super Regional for the Southeast.
Yeah, we saw the Cougars here a couple years ago. I believe that was 2019. The Columbus State Cougars were flirting with a national title.
Yeah, they were the runner-up in 2018.
Was that against Augustana?
Against Augustana, yes.
All right. The 0-2. Got him. So Westchester puts 2 men aboard on free passes from Fields with 2 outs. But Fields will leave them stranded. And that gives North Greenville a chance to strike first in the bottom half of the first inning, as these 2 teams finally are taking center stage here in Cary, North Carolina. With apologies to that theme park over in Texas, 8 flags here in Cary, North Carolina. All 8 teams are alive and well. 3 of whom have already picked up a loss. Once that second loss comes around, that flag quickly finds its way down the pole. Remember last year, Wingate lost its very first game, but would go on to win the entire thing. That is not the easiest path to a national title. Westchester can tell you, play 4 games, win 4 games, take a title home. That's the way to do it. They've done it twice. They've done it their last 2 times here.
So the flagpole operator was tugging on that flag for Wingate the entire tournament.
Yep.
Whereas Westchester, their flag has always been safe. You don't even have to go near that pole.
He's trying to wing it. As North Greenville will lead things off, it's Garrick Octavio who will be the first man to face Braden Fosnot. Fosnot, 3.30 ERA, 9 wins, 2 losses on the year in his 17 appearances so far. Through 95 innings of work, 121 strikeouts, opposing hitters batting .225. Again, I know all these young men are just thrilled that they're finally back to playing baseball for the first time since the Super Regionals last weekend, as they've been patiently waiting their time through those first 3 games of the weekend. Garrick Octavio's already had an immediate impact on this ball game, squeezing that line drive up the middle in the first half of this inning. If your name is Garrick Octavio, you're probably not dreaming of playing D2 basketball or for a D2 men's volleyball championship. I have a feeling that a course has been set for you.
Well, his dad is a big Yankees fan, so named him Garrick after Lou Gehrig, of course.
Yeah, not the first Garrick we've seen here in Cary.
Yeah. It's cool to be named after a legend like that, Hall of Famer.
I think it was UCSD that had the other one. I could be wrong.
No, I think you might be right.
Thank you.
And he won, Garrick Octavio won the batting title last year in the conference, hitting .460. Not as high of a batting average this time around, but still .343.
1-2 offering from Fosnot coming up. Fosnot, another grad student, second team all conference East Division out of Danville, Pennsylvania. Got him looking. First strikeout for Fosnot. 1 away.
Well, Octavio is definitely known as being a patient hitter, but that time a little too patient. I mean, he just got frozen right there on a pitch that was, well, you know what? That looked like it was low. And you can understand why he'd take that pitch. It looked like it was beneath the knees. He's not happy.
5th appearance in the championship for Westchester. They came here in 06-09. 09 was the first year here in Cary. Won it all in 12 and 17. Now back here for a 5th time in 2022. This is Ethan Stringer, your left fielder. Stringer out of Independence, Kentucky. Started at Louisville. Grad student in his own right, hitting .317 with 6 home runs, 37 RBI this year. And he'll send this one for a ride out towards center, backtracking Zach Wright to the warning track, and that's where it's going to die down for out number 2.
You know, the wind has died down. We saw those flags a moment ago, and we had some wind earlier today in our first game that was gusting up to about 17 miles an hour from what I heard on my app. But now I think the ball will start carrying again. We saw it carry early in that first game when the wind wasn't blowing, so that determines a lot of how the ball is going to go here at Coleman Field.
You know, we should share some information that wasn't obvious in the top half when we told you about North Greenville's defense, but John Michael Fail is back in the order as the DH. He's going to be batting 6th in the lineup today. Right now it's Pat Monteith batting 3rd. But John Michael, first team all-conference this year before that knee injury in the conference tournament. Last year's conference player of the year, first team all-region despite the injury this season. That'll be a welcomed bat as they try to work him back in as the DH.
Well, it's interesting because Fail normally would be the number 3 hitter, but when he was out with the injury, Monteith was plugged in at number 3, and now he stays there.
Yep. As
he's been kind of comfortable in that spot here in the postseason.
Monteith finished with second team all-conference honors, the sophomore. Fights that one off, hitting .337 with 13 home runs, 51 RBI. Winds up being first team all-region for the native of Charleston, South Carolina. Fifth appearance here in the championship for Westchester. 5th appearance overall in the NCAA postseason for North Greenville, who happens to be your number 1 seed this week. They're looking to make it count their first try.
Number 1 ranked team last time I looked at the rankings.
Well, and one of the most experienced lineups in Division II returning this year, including John Michael Fail. Of course, Monteith last year was freshman of the year in their conference. Far from a sophomore slump this year. Nobody on with 2 outs. The 2-2. And not tempting, count goes full.
I'll tell you somebody who does not want to get hit by a baseball, and that's the third base coach for North Greenville. He is playing out in left field as a third base coach. I mean, he is way out there.
Coincidentally, there's also shade over there.
Yeah, maybe that's it, but I don't think I've seen a third base coach that far away from home plate.
Yeah.
He's in another area code.
This one launched to center. Zach Wright tracked down the last one. This one again takes him just to the warning track. So a couple of deep flies from Stringer and Monteith, but not deep enough. Through an inning of play here in Cary. We are scoreless, moving on to the top of the second.
For North Greenville.
Both pitchers hold serve, scoreless first innings, puts Reese Fields back on the mound. If anything for North Greenville, we talk about the experienced lineup coming back, but pitching this year, entering the season, may have been somewhat of a question mark. Lost a lot. Had one starter they felt very comfortable with, though, and that happens to have been your conference pitcher of the year, Reese Fields. As here he is getting the nod in their first ever championship week here in Cary, North Carolina. All the other starting roles up for grabs. His catcher happens to be one of your popular candidates to eat up some innings.
Yeah, Jack's Cash, an unusual combination of being a catcher and a pitcher.
Here's Keith Flaherty. Batting 6th in the lineup today, coming up for the first time to face Fields. The Philly, PA native, also a grad student, batting .291 his final year with 4 home runs, 37 RBI. If he can get on among several base-stealing threats for this team. It's going to be a slow chopper foul.
You were talking about the pitching for North Greenville, and Coach Landon Powell told us that in January he never thought that the pitching would be this good. He didn't think they had the depth, but they end up coming into this tournament 9th in the country in ERA at 3.67.
Landon Powell sits 4 wins shy of 300, also sits 4 wins shy of a national championship. Another ball shot out towards center. Center. Out number 1.
Yeah, Landon Powell, the former Major League catcher, he inherited a team that was coming off an 8-35 season in 2014, and his friends were telling him, why are you taking this job? But his first year, 30 wins, made the NCAA tournament. By the time he got to his third year, 35 wins, and then eventually 46 wins, and now 50 wins this year.
When you say his friends, most of his friends are major leaguers. I mean,
yeah, what are you doing?
Powell, former 24th overall selection of the Oakland A's, would go on to catch Dallas Braden's perfect game a little over a decade ago.
Yeah, Mother's Day, 2010.
Former South Carolina Gamecock. Actually, his college teammates, his assistant coach, Trey Dyson. Coach, as you alluded to, Landon Powell, now in his 8th year, but put this team on the map nationally almost immediately. Talking about North Greenville. Right now it's Sestawicki at the plate with 1 out, nobody on.
Well, Powell, he was always known as a catcher who did a great job of calling pitches. He called all the pitches in that perfect game for Dallas Braden, and he calls the pitches here now, although he does get some help because his normal catcher, who you already mentioned, John Michael Fail, coming back from a knee injury, DHing today, but normally he's a catcher, and he will call pitches, so they kind of do it together now. We'll be in the dugout together calling the pitches.
Right now, a 3-1 count to Sean Sestawicki. Up the middle. The leather of Bivens able to scoop it up and tosses it over to up, 2 down. Corey Bivens makes it look easy.
Yeah, very smooth over at shortstop.
The catcher, number 5, J.R. Gifford.
Brings up the 8th spot here in the Westchester lineup. J.R. Gifford, just a good old-fashioned senior. Hitting .245 with 24 RBI, 7 home runs this year. 8th spot in the lineup with some pop. Again, we mentioned Westchester is the only team in the field that has won a national championship, but their coach has not. Mike LaRosa back at his alma mater in his 2nd year as head coach, taking the reins from a championship winner. LaRosa, 2017, inducted into the Westchester Hall of Fame for his playing days. Spent the last 9 years as the head coach at Division III Widener outside of Philadelphia, where he got them within a game of punching their ticket to the Division III baseball championship at the time in Appleton, Wisconsin. 1-2 pitch, got him swinging. That's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Reese Fields on the mound, and it's going to put the bats back in the hands of North Greenville. Fly out, ground out, and a strikeout from Reese Fields, his 3rd here in Cary. Things have thinned out in the Westchester dugout as they take the field for a 2nd time now. Home half of the 2nd. Again, your number 1 seed, North Greenville, back at the plate after they went 1-2-3 against Braden Fosnot. as the pressure now back on him to post another 0 after his counterpart, Reese Fields, has done so through the first 2 innings. Scott Wyckoff leading our umpires here this evening. A reminder, for the first time all year, these two teams have access to replay to challenge calls. Coaches can do so up to twice. If they get a challenge correct, they'll keep that challenge. 7th inning and beyond, our head of officials can call down and have a review initiated.
So you only run out when you get 2 wrong, is what you're saying, right?
It's baseball, so of course 2 strikes and you're out. Here's Merritt Kloop. A 1-1 count to Merritt Kloop, your typical American baseball player from the Czech Republic. Actually started his career down the road at North Carolina State. These days, first team All-Region for your Player of the Year. A great moment right before the regional. His dad and girlfriend from the Czech Republic surprised him. It was the first time for his dad to see him play baseball in person in 2 years since he came over to the States. Something we take for granted. And frankly, I don't know what access to NCAA.com is like over in the Czech Republic.
Well, that's cool that they got to see him play.
The 1-2. A lot of foul ground to work with, and just enough for Mike Ferrara to make the catch.
Yeah, that's one of those that in many ballparks that would have been out of play.
Now
Ferrara had room.
I want to point out he's running to his own dugout, and there's nobody there to catch him.
Well, let's take a look as he came right over to the dugout.
When that's your guy, you should be there to catch your guy.
Yeah.
Now, I get it if you're going to the other dugout and they don't want any part of helping you make that catch.
Nobody was there to help him.
Everybody's just standing still watching.
Yeah, they were spectators.
The only guy not standing still, Mike Ferrara, believing he could catch that ball. All right, here's Josh Center. Punches this one out towards right. Cantwell underneath it. 2 away. Nobody out there to catch him either.
Fosnot, I mean, he is using a minimal number of pitches to just get through the lineup. And keep in mind that the last time he was out there, he pitched a complete game against East Stroudsburg. That was in the clincher to get the Golden Rams here to the D2 championship. So, you know, he's equipped to go all the way.
All right, here is the welcomed return of John Michael Fail. Your longtime backstop went out with a knee injury in the conference tournament. Last year, Conference Player of the Year. He's your DH today in his return. Still managed numbers, first team all-conference, hit .414 this year, 81 RBI and 15 home runs. What a great bat to have back in the lineup. And you just wonder how strong that knee can be.
Well, it's nearly a medical miracle that he's playing in this. I mean, he had a meniscus tear rounding first base in the conference tournament. That wasn't that long ago. It was the first inning of the first game of that tournament, and here he is back in the lineup today.
From Boiling Springs, South Carolina. To center. Carrying back to the wall, and that ball is gone. What a story. John Michael Fail goes deep with 2 outs to give North Greenville its first ever lead here in Cary. The entire dugout will empty to welcome John Michael back as he puts them on the board.
Unbelievable. I mean, he had surgery on his knee recently, and he's still able to crank it out. You can see he has a brace on his right knee, and it's his 16th home run of the year. You don't have to run very fast when you hit it over the wall.
Yeah, that's the secret. If you have bad knees, hit a home run.
Wow.
With 2 outs, here's Jordan Halliday. Halliday's typically been your DH, but with John Michael Fail taking that spot, Halliday at first. Halliday very capable defensively. He was on the all-defensive squad for the conference this year. North Greenville has a lead to work with. Can they find insurance before the end of the second inning? Got him. Braden Fosnot, second strikeout through 2 innings, but 1 batter too late.
Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano as we go to the 3rd inning here at Coleman Field. The Division II Baseball Championship hosted by Mount Olive. 1-0 in favor of North Greenville after the home run by John Michael Fail. What a story. Injured his knee back on May the 5th in the first game of the conference tournament. Had surgery, and a month later to the day after that injury, here he is hitting a home run as the DH and putting the Crusaders on the board. Zach Miles to lead it off for Westchester, hitting .258, 3 homers, 23 RBIs. Takes a called strike, 0-1. That is quite a story for North Greenville.
And it's yet another run scored this week with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Which has been the vast majority of them now.
And that was a bomb. Here's a shot towards second. A hot 2-hopper for Octavio. Throws out Miles. 1 away. The home run was 410 feet. Exit velocity 107 miles an hour for John Michael Fail. Now top of the order in Zach Wright, 0 for 1, line to second.
Top of the order.
Well, we talked about Landon Powell a little bit, the head coach for North Greenville. And part of the story for the former Major League catcher is that he grew up right around here. In fact, he went to high school at Apex High School, which is very close by. And as a kid, he used to run around here. It was a farm area. This is well before they had the USA Baseball training facility. It's awesome that we come to every year. But Landon Powell grew up right around this neighborhood. There's a called strike, 0-2.
Yeah, you can only imagine how much things have changed.
And pretty cool for him to come back with a team that's trying to win a national championship. Of course, he went on to play at the University of South Carolina, and they went to the College World Series when he was playing there. Pitch in the dirt, 1-2. And then a first-round draft pick, as you mentioned, by the A's in 2004. And has built up this program. Powell grew up about a mile away from here. He used to ride 4-wheelers around in the dirt and fish in the ponds around here. So it brings back great memories for him.
He's hoping not to have too much downtime to do any of that. With that said, he's been spending a lot of his downtime with the team renting out movie theaters.
I heard about that. Yeah. Ground ball up the middle, ranging to his right, not able to get it. Octavio, the second baseman, diving effort by Bivens. So base hit to center for Wright with 1 out. That had eyes, as they say.
Yeah, you had 2 men right there. They continue to have Octavio shifted pretty heavily towards the bag, and You wonder if there had only been one of them in the area, if perhaps they'd have a better chance of that ball. Or if that ball was going to find its way through regardless.
So that's the first hit for Westchester. And now Justin Horn comes up. He struck out in the first 0 for 1. Well, look out for Wright. 39 stolen bases in 44 attempts. Not going here. They're going to bunt. On the third base side, Monteith. Close play at first. Got him. Well, that was a good bunt by Horn. I mean, he wasn't just trying to get the runner over. He thought maybe he'd get a base hit out of it.
Yeah, he gets the benefit of it being a sac bunt, but he was bunting for a base hit there. And you would have understood if he had wound up with a single on that one.
Give Monteith credit because he really was able to gobble that up quickly. Look how fast he was coming in. And when you're coming in that fast on the run and you have to throw across your body, that's not the easiest thing to make an accurate throw. And to have something really good on it because you don't have much time to set your feet. Here's Joe Kalick. Or is it Kalick? Kalick.
Yep.
He walked in the first inning. Takes in the dirt, 1-0. Kalick was the number 2 hitter for most of the season, now in the number 3 spot. A walk-on. Coach LaRosa told him that it might be hard to make this team as a walk-on, but Kalick said, you know what, I can do it. He made the roster. He's one of their big contributors. And here he is in the Division II Baseball Championship. Trying to bring home the tying run from second, and he gets ahead 2-0.
And Reese Fields has been given a lead to work with for the first time. Westchester trying to erase that lead with that man stepping into your screen. Zach Wright in scoring position.
Down and away with that pitch. The second baseman, Octavio, is playing almost straight up the middle with his shift. And now with the count where it is at 3-0, he was moving around, but now he's going to get back almost straight behind second base. Does Kalick take all the way here on 3-0? He's swinging away and he drives one. Left field. And under it now is Stringer to make the catch. That ball didn't go anywhere. It looked like a good swing, but it did not go anywhere on the 3-0 swinging fly ball out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Middle of the third, 1-0 in favor of North Greenville. Beautiful evening here in Cary, North Carolina, home of the Division II Baseball Championship. We got underway yesterday, and this is the 4th game of the tournament. Quick review, Southern Arkansas won 3-1 in the first game, beating Rollins yesterday. Then last night, Point Loma took care of business against Illinois Springfield, winning 8-1. So tomorrow we'll see our first elimination game, Rollins against Illinois Springfield, and we'll see Southern Arkansas playing Point Loma. And one of those two teams will be 2-0 and riding high, and they'll get a couple of days off before their next game. Meanwhile, earlier today, Angelo State winning 7-4 against Southern New Hampshire. So the loser of this game plays an elimination game against Southern New Hampshire, and that will be on Tuesday afternoon, while Angelo State waits in the wings to play Tuesday evening against the winner of this game. Jax Cash to lead it off for North Greenville, hitting .333, 3 homers, 25 RBIs, two-way player, fouls it back 0-1. Very valuable guy. You mentioned catcher and pitcher. You just don't see that very often.
Though not at the same time, I'm told.
Well, yeah. Cash waiting for the pitch from Fosnaught. 0-2 is your count. You think about Cash, he goes all the way back with Coach Powell to when he was 12 years old, and he used to get catching lessons from Landon Powell. Pretty cool. As he fouls it at the plate, a guy who was in the major leagues giving him lessons. transfer from the University of South Carolina, so they have that in common as well, that they both played at South Carolina. For the Gamecocks.
North Greenville's done very well in the Conference of Carolinas, which they've been a member of since 2011, since coming over from the NCAA for Christian colleges.
0-2 to Cash, ground ball to shortstop. Nice easy hop for Sestawicki, I should say. And he throws out Cash, one away.
It's a conference that includes our hosts, Mount Olive. North Greenville was not kind to our hosts. A lot of our volunteers this week are very familiar with this year's squad, as they handed Mount Olive both of their losses in that conference tournament.
Shortstop, number 10.
Well, in the conference, North Greenville going 25-5 in the conference Carolinas.
Yeah, 25-5, then swept their way through the conference championship itself against King, Belmont Abbey, and then 2 wins against Mount Olive.
Corey Bivens fouls it back 0-1. North Greenville's won 11 of their last 13 coming into this. Number 9 hitter Bivens up there. There's only been one hitter to do anything. And there's a comebacker handled by Fosnot, and he throws him out. So 2 up, 2 down here in the third. The only batter to do anything to get on base was John Michael Fail, and he really wasn't on base. He circled the bases with a home run.
We were just surprised he was in the lineup at all.
Top of the order, second baseman.
Back to the top of the order. Nobody else has been able to get on. And Octavio, the leadoff hitter, 0 for 1, struck out looking in the first. You mentioned the movies that Coach Powell took his team to the theater to see, and they rented out a theater over the last 3 weeks, and they've seen Unbroken, Lone Survivor, and Top Gun. Now, is there some kind of theme to that for the D2 championship, I wonder?
Sounds
Seems
like
it.
it.
Yeah. Unbroken, Lone Survivor, yeah, if you get to the championship. Top Gun, if you win it all. They're unbroken so far in this game, since they haven't given up a run. 2-0 to Octavio.
Octavio out of Hawaii, started his career at Murray State.
Takes the pitch for a strike, 2-1. Yeah, that's a long way from Hawaii to here.
It's a long drive.
From Hilo, Hawaii. 2 down, nobody on. 3-1 the count. And it's interesting because he is roommates with Marek Klup, who is from, as you mentioned, the Czech Republic. I don't know if you can get any further apart. A guy from Hawaii and a guy from the Czech Republic that are rooming together.
Well, the two of them sometimes on Twitter do a segment called International Story Time.
Well, the story this time is a walk for Octavio with 2 down. Well, we have to check that out.
Now batting the left fielder, Ethan Stringer.
Here's Ethan Stringer, 0 for 1 fly into center. Octavio can run 20 out of 26 on stolen bases this year, although you wonder if he'd go with a lefty on the mound. Well, he's off to a good lead over at first base with Ferrara holding him on. Definitely has a base stealers type lead. Curveball in there for a called strike, 0-1.
Coach Powell will tell you this may not be the most talented team he's ever had, but best team in terms of how these teams never feel like they're out of a ball game no matter what the score is. And that counts this time of year. Willing to battle back, though right now just trying to add to their current run advantage.
Watch Octavio there. He keeps flinching. And I think he's just trying to get Fosnot to balk. It's funny because I think a lot of times left-handed pitchers intimidate would-be base stealers leading off. In this case, it's just the opposite, where Octavio is trying to intimidate Fosnot, I think, by doing this little flinch to make him think that he's going to be running. Not going. Fastball high, 1-2. In this tournament, more than any in recent memory, we've got teams that can really run. We saw it in the first game today with Angelo State running wild for 6 stolen bases and causing errors. I think there were 3 errors on those stolen bases. Strike 3, and that's the inning. 3 strikeouts for Fosnot, and he leaves a runner on. 3 in the books here in Cary, North Carolina. 1-0 North Greenville. Reese Fields will go to work here in the 4th inning with a 1-0 lead for his North Greenville Crusaders. Mike Ferrara, Luke Cantwell, and Keith Flaherty coming up here, 4, 5, and 6 for Westchester. I talked about a team that runs. If Westchester can get runners on base, they're 3rd in the nation in stolen bases, and Coach La Rosa talked about how opposing pitchers get distracted by their base runners. So even if they're not stealing bases, pitchers are always so worried about it. And it's with good reason. I was looking at it, Lincoln, that Westchester has had 3 games this season with 10 or more stolen bases. They had a season high 14 stolen bases in 1 game back in March against Mansfield that they won 14-8. But man, 14 stolen bases? Can't even imagine that.
Well, they've had a few base runners today. No stolen bases just yet. No runs just yet.
Here's Ferrara, ground ball, third base hit down the left field line. Just fair. Stringer picking it up in the corner, has trouble with it, but Ferrara will stop at second with a leadoff double.
Mike was hit by a pitch back in the 1st and left stranded on the base paths, hoping to come home and score the tying run here in the 4th.
Just kept that fair.
Pulls this right down the line.
Had some room because the third baseman Monteith was not playing that close to the line. Ferrara could have thought about going to 3rd, but a little celebration there because that ball got away from Stringer when he tried to play the carom. Now Luke Cantwell struck out in the 1st inning. Tying run at 2nd here in the 4th inning. That was the 2nd hit for the Golden Rams. Fields deals and just misses outside with a slider, 1-0.
Westchester has not helped itself throughout this postseason. They were one and done in their conference tournament. Luckily, double elimination in the NCAAs, but in the regional, lost early. Had to take the tough path back, including having to win 2 late to win that regional. Their supers dropped an early game, had to win 2 to come back, but here they are. They're just trying to find that first victory here in Cary, as they have in years past, rather than having to take that tough path through the elimination bracket.
Both of these teams had to go to a 3rd game in their super regional to get here. Cantwell swings and misses, and he falls behind. 1-2 now the count. For North Greenville in their super regional, in the clincher, they won 13-3. They scored 6 runs in the 1st inning. That makes you feel comfortable.
That gives your pitcher a little bit to work with.
1-2 to Cantwell, outside and low, and now it's even at 2-2.
Westchester baseball with those 2 national titles, but field hockey's got 7 of them. Women's lacrosse with 3, men's soccer with 3. Looking for their 3rd here in 2022.
Two to Cantwell, checks his swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire, Rick Cacciatore. 1 away on the 4th strikeout by Fields.
Yeah, 2 of them at the expense of the number 5 hitter, Cantwell.
Did he offer?
That's right at that threshold, and we see it called both ways. At that point, you're leaving yourself vulnerable.
Yeah. And you know it, too. You're just hoping that you get a lucky call. Keith Flaherty at the plate, fly to center his first trip. Swing and a miss. 0-1.
Tried to give Westchester the lead right there.
And throw to second, and they got the runner hung up in a rundown. Ferrara. Throw to second, he's out. And that is a big base running mistake for Mike Ferrara. He just got caught way off the back.
Had that double to begin the inning. You thought maybe should stretch it to a triple. I think we both agreed was wise to stay at second, but when it's all said and done, a couple batters later, caught off the back. And this is well done by North Greenville.
1, 4, 5, 6. 2 down. 0-1 to Flaherty, swing and a miss. And it's 0-2. That really helps the pitcher. Helps himself out by picking off the runner.
If he goes sliding back into second, is he safe?
If he went back right away. Well, he started to go for more when the pitcher stepped off the rubber.
No, I meant on that final throw.
On the last throw? Yeah, it might have been close.
Final throw back to the bag. Nope.
Yeah, well, he probably should have tried to slide in.
Yeah, a little too far away.
1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball, and that retires the side on the 5th strikeout by Reese Fields. No runs, a hit, a pickoff that was big. Middle of the 4th, 1-0 North Greenville.
No runs on.
The lights are on, but they have not taken effect as of yet. Here at Coleman Field in Cary, North Carolina. Joe Castellano and Lincoln Rose with you for every game of the Division II Baseball Championship. Cary, in between Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. We're surrounded by great universities that have outstanding athletic programs. And these D2 schools, they look forward to coming here to play for the title. You know, Westchester, they've got the experience as a school of being here, but none of their players on this roster have played in the D2 championship. And North Greenville, their first trip here, they've had a great season. They have a lot of confidence coming in, and they have the 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the 4th.
If you win this tournament, Joe and I tend to talk about you a lot for years to come, just to impress ourselves that we still remember most of what we've seen.
Here's Pat Monteith, takes outside from Braden Fosnot, 1-0. Well, with the COVID year and everything, we're seeing more and more grad students like Fosnot out there playing. 2-0 to Monteith. If you can hang around and play and get here, it's just so meaningful to a player and student athlete. 3-0 to Monteith. Well, walk was issued in the 3rd inning, but that didn't hurt Fosnot. You don't want to walk the leadoff guy. 3-1.
Not just new roster for Westchester. We've talked about this is a different coaching staff. But it has a couple of former Golden Rams on it. Mike LaRosa, 05 product. Brian Lindros, 02.
Second walk for Fosnot.
Right fielder.
And now Merrick Kloop. You never want to walk somebody in front of him. Well, certainly Coach Mike LaRosa has done a really good job. And you mentioned that he played at Westchester and is a member of the Westchester Athletics Hall of Fame. A really good player. Played some independent ball professionally.
Graduated the year before Westchester's first championship appearance in 06.
In 2012, when Westchester was here and won it all, they had Joey Wendell on that team. He plays in the major leagues with the Marlins now. second baseman when he was playing here. Fly ball to left field, charging in is Kalick. He's going to have to hurry in, and he does. Kloop is out number 1. It's a big out. Kloop is a guy hitting over 400 this year. Now Josh Center, 0 for 1, fly to right.
Now batting the center fielder, Josh Center.
As Monteith nowhere to go, stuck on first for now.
Should Monteith elect to try to steal, keep in mind that he has not been thrown out this year. 15 out of 15 on stolen bases. Got a pretty good lead being held by Ferrara at first. Again, it's a lefty on the mound. That's high for a ball 1-0, but that doesn't stop somebody who's as good as Monteith at stealing bases. You know what might be tough is the sun right now, because it's right in the eyes of the not only the first baseman but the runner at first, to try to pick up on the pitcher when you got the sun there. Chopper, left side, going to be tough to turn 2. Sestawicki to first, second I should say, 1, and Miles to first, not in time. 6-4 on the putout. That was not hit hard enough and hit in a spot where you could beat it out, but they do get the force at second.
Well, they don't get it by much, as Monteith goes sliding into second, and it's just narrowly beat to the bag.
Designated hitter, John Michael Fair.
They were fortunate to get one out of that exchange.
So runner at first, 2 down, and John Michael Fairley with that home run to center field in the second inning, his 16th of the year, and his first at bat since his knee injury on May the 5th. Had surgery after that, and exactly a month later gets back in the lineup, amazingly, and hits a home run.
I mean, this day's already a win for him, right?
Yeah.
He could just take a knee for the rest of this at bat, and he's already provided you more than you expected.
There goes the runner. Pitch outside. Throw to second by Gifford. Off the mark. So Center gets his 27th stolen base of the year in 29 attempts. Another guy who never gets thrown out. And he's in scoring position with 2 down. That's when the stolen base is really valuable, with 2 outs. Although, I mean, you'd hate to get thrown out there with a guy like John Michael Fail at the plate.
Yeah, they wish they had a couple guys on instead of 2 outs last time he was up.
But, I mean, he was going to be safe there, I think, even with a great throw. So runner at second, 2 down. John Michael Fail, 2-0 count. Curveball in there for a strike, 2-1. He might not see too many fastballs the rest of the tournament after he pounded that one out. I believe it was fastball in the second inning and went 410 feet. Way high and away. 3-1 to Fail. DHing these days. He was the starting catcher before the knee injury. 2-time All-American. He was a National Freshman of the Year when he first started out. 3-1 to Fail, and he takes ball 4. So 2 on with 2 outs now. That's the 3rd walk for Fosnot, 2nd in this inning. So both base runners on because of walks. The only hit for the Crusaders was the home run by Fail against Fosnot. Now they're going to talk it over with Jordan Holiday coming up. Holiday struck out in the second, 0 for 1. Can't blame him for working around Fail right there. Even though Holiday's a good hitter, hitting over 300, Fail hitting over 400, and you know what he did earlier and the kind of power he has.
Well, Holiday got his year off to a great start. That opening series against Mississippi College, game-winning home run. Among the many dangerous bats he's buried down in the 7-hole. One of his 10 home runs this year. As you mentioned, the former Gamecock in his own right, just like his head coach.
Center at second, Fail at first. Holiday at the plate. Swing and a miss, just swatted after it. 0-1.
That's still the only hit of the day for North Greenville. The one that carried over the outfield wall. A chance to find insurance, but with 2 outs here.
Fosnot deals up with that pitch. 1-1. Fosnot's best pitch is his changeup. Well, he does a good job of throwing that against righties. That was a changeup right there. It's fouled out of play. Now it's 1-2. So Fosnot in search of his 4th strikeout, trying to leave 2 men on base. Excellent pitching by Fields on one side and Fosnot on the other for Westchester. Gifford putting down the sign. Fosnot taking a long look in and finally time called. Good speed at second with center over there. 1-2 to Holiday. Liner to right field. Cantwell coming in, dives. Did he get it? Yes, he did. What a catch by Luke Cantwell to save the day for the Golden Rams. Wow.
That's an aggressive decision, and it pays off. Luke Cantwell trying to keep it just a 1-run deficit. Charging in, commits, and he's rewarded.
Still 1-0 North Greenville. Well, we'll see if that catch in right field by Luke Cantwell pumps up his team offensively. 1-0 lead for North Greenville over Westchester.
Stranded 2 on the base paths. Likely both score if that ball gets by them.
Not a lot of hitting in this game, only 2 hits for the Golden Rams, and only 1 hit, the home run, the only run scored, the John Michael Fail homer. That's the only hit for the Crusaders. Here's Sean Sestawicki, who grounded to short his first time, the Golden Rams shortstop. They call him Zesto. The redshirt freshman takes, and that's a called strike, 0-1.
See if the bottom third of the order can come through. They're 0 for 3, their first time up against Reese Fields.
Little bouncing ball. This could be a tough play for Monteith. Hurries it over to first. Got him. Wow, that's not the first time that we've seen Monteith make a nice play at third base. You got to be quick in this situation.
Monteith still goes to his glove, believes he has time with his arm, and does.
He's good at getting it over to first base quickly without winding up on his throw, just gunning it over there. Here's J.R. Gifford, the catcher for Westchester. 0 for 1 struck out, and he fouls it back 0-1.
Well, we saw a great starting pitching performance in our game. The first one we saw yesterday between Southern Arkansas and Rollins. Both starting pitchers went the distance, and so whether you won the game or lost the game, you were doing the rest of your bullpen and teammates a great service, and both these teams right now are set up to get the same benefit from both Reese Fields as well as Braden Fosnot.
Yeah, that's a good comparison of that game and this one. Adorno ended up being the hero in that first game that we saw with good pitching for Southern Arkansas.
Yeah, he got the complete game win.
We'll see the Mule Riders again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock against Point Loma. That's whacked to third base off the glove of Monteith, and he will not have a play. That was hit hard, but it was right at him. And looked like he may have rushed himself a little bit, and he had plenty of time because it was hit so hard.
It is an error officially on Monteith.
I mean, it's a shame with all the great plays he's made that you would end up with an error right there. I mean, sometimes you got to play hockey goaltender, and it doesn't always work out.
Second baseman, Zach Miles.
Couldn't flag it. So now runner at first after the error. Tying run on base, and Zach Miles at the plate 0 for 1, grounded to second. Infield playing him to pull. Takes a strike. Outfield a little bit towards right. Not playing all that deep against Miles.
Second straight inning, they get their leadoff batter on. Westchester, last inning a walk, this inning an error.
Gifford is a catcher who is not one of the base stealers on this Westchester team. There's a floater into right field, but caught by Kloop. Throwing back to first and back in safe is Gifford. Had to hustle back there. 2 down. Zach Wright at the top of the order now, 1 for 2, a single.
Back up at the top of the order, center fielder, Zach Wright.
1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for North Greenville. Westchester, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. Wright, a .311 batting average coming in. A grad student from Columbus, New Jersey, transferred from LaSalle.
Yeah, there's a decent LaSalle influence on this roster.
They've got the overshift on in the infield. Called strike 0-1. The second baseman, Octavio, over to the left of second and playing actually on the outfield grass right now. We got 3 infielders to the left of second. Seems like that'd be tough to throw out the base runner playing that deep at second. Oh, 1 pitch in the dirt. 1-1.
Zach Wright and 3 of his former LaSalle teammates, all Golden Rams now.
I mean, you go back maybe just a few years ago, and you didn't see many shifts. And you started seeing it in the major leagues. Now you even see it at Division II, where they're getting the scouting reports to know that Wright is a pull hitter.
I mean, that's the way it works, right? It all trickles down. First, that technology is just available at the highest levels, and now it's at your fingertips wherever you are.
But you know what's interesting? I mean, he lined to second earlier. I'm trying to remember if he hit it up the middle to line to him, or
Yes.
yeah, he was positioned well. Throw to first, diving back, safe.
Now
is Gifford.
Yeah, that very first at bat for Zach Wright, Octavio was still on his side of the bag. Not even flirting with behind the bag, but he was significantly shifted. Now, this obviously is even more so.
Yeah.
But that allowed him to catch that liner.
And he had a base hit, Wright did, to center field.
Again, that's the second baseman you're looking at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah. Bouncing ball over third, just fair. Monteith gloves on the short hop. Throws a short hop throw to first. Dug out of there by Holiday. Nice job by the first baseman to save Monteith from a possible second error of the inning. Instead, no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. We are halfway through our second game of the day. It's 1-0 North Greenville leading Westchester. Sun setting here in Cary, North Carolina. Got some shadows across the field. The fans enjoying some nice weather. Hasn't been too hot. And a great pitcher's duel going on here as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning with North Greenville on top 1-0 because of a home run by John Michael Fail, the only hit they have in the game, while Westchester has just 2 hits. And they've left 4 men on base. They have not been able to get on the board. Great pitching by Reese Fields and Braden Fosnod, who goes back to the mound here. And he'll face Cash, Bivens, and Octavio, 8, 9, and 1 in the order for North Greenville.
The catcher, Jack Cash.
You know, Fosnock came in 121 strikeouts in 95 innings, but not really K'ing a lot of hitters. 3 so far in the game.
Yeah, sprinkled 3 across the first 3 innings.
He's had to battle through some walk issues, 3 of them, and they've come in the last couple of innings. Great play by his right fielder to end the last inning. And there's a curveball outside and low to Cash, 1-0. That was a really nice diving catch by Cantwell. If he doesn't catch that ball and it gets by him, probably it would have been 2 runs scoring and probably a triple.
Yep.
Swing and a miss. 2-0.
So far,
rather,
though,
1-1. Sorry.
Just about every gamble we've seen has paid off defensively through these first couple of days.
Yeah. 1-1 is your count. Hot shot up the middle. Base hit into center field for Cash. A leadoff single. That's only the 2nd hit for the Crusaders.
And just the 2nd time North Greenville has been able to get their leadoff batter on.
The shortstop, Corey Divins.
Second straight inning to do so.
So now Bivens 0 for 1, bounce back to the pitcher. Number 9 hitter here. Cash off to a good lead at first base. He's going, got a good jump, and the ball gets by Gifford. That'll be a stolen base, heading for third now, Cash. And he'll make it in easily, as that ball was all the way over by the on-deck circle.
What a fantastic job locking eyes with his coach, as you're taught to do when you're reaching second. He was not content just with the stolen base. He realized there could be more.
Well, I think that's going to be a stolen base and a pass ball, both. Stolen base to get to second, pass ball to get to third. And you're right, that's great base running right there. Heads up. So Cash at third with nobody out, and it's 1-0 to Bivens. The infield comes in. Fouled back.
Pretty good wheels for a guy who's a catcher and a pitcher.
Yeah, really good base running, too. I mean, that was just textbook. Interesting to bring the infield in. You do have a number 9 hitter up there. I mean, it's the middle innings, and that's kind of hit or miss as far as whether or not you'd bring the infield in, but they are. They want to cut down that runner. Whacked, base hit left field. That was a bullet. Cash comes in and scores, and on at first is Bivens with an RBI single. It's 2-0 North Greenville.
Yeah, this is an RBI single regardless of how the infield is playing, regardless of depth. It gets out of the infield in a hurry off the bat of your 9-hitter Bivens. The 8 and 9 spot in the lineup have come through. They have found insurance for North Greenville, a laser into left.
Man, you talk about exit velocity. That was like a Nolan Ryan fastball that went into left field the way he hit that.
So 8 and 9 hitters come through, now onto the top of the order.
That was hit so hard that even Kalick out in left had trouble fielding it a little bit because it was still steaming on its way out there. Throw to first, back in safe is Bivens. Bivens 10 steals in 14 attempts.
That's back-to-back hits for North Greenville after they only had 1 hit through the first 4 innings.
Garrig Octavio at the plate now. Struck out, walked. And another throw to first. And that's not a move that's going to fool anybody as a base runner over there.
If history had played out differently, he could be Pip Octavio.
Gotta love that name, Garrig. But, yeah. If Wally Pip didn't sit out that day.
Poor Wally.
One and 0 to Octavio. Octavio, I should say. That's how you say it. Here's the pitch. Low for a ball. 2-0. Octavio is a guy who can see a lot of pitches. In fact, Coach Powell was telling us that there was a game where he had 32 pitches seen as the leadoff hitter. So that's like 8 pitches in at bat if you have 4 at bats. They're going to talk it over here.
And that's a thing where even if you never reach, you've already done some heavy lifting for your teammates.
Yeah. By the way, since we were talking about Gehrig, you just made me think of the other day I had a chance. You know how much I love golf, and I got to go to Pinehurst, and it's an amazing golf course, which I had never played before. But the story has nothing to do with golf. There was a house on the course, and the owner of the house bought flagpoles from the old Yankee Stadium. So maybe even Lou Gehrig saw those flagpoles. I mean, how much would that cost, first of all? And how cool is that you have 2 flagpoles from the old Yankee Stadium?
Now, were there still pennants flying on those
No,
flagpoles?
no, they had nothing
Because they have so many of those pennants, they probably don't notice if a few go missing.
Actually, they might have had a North Greenville flag on it. There goes the runner. Called strike. Throw to second on the money, but late from Gifford. Stolen base for Bivens, his 11th of the year. So another runner in scoring position for the Crusaders. I was kidding. They did not have a North Greenville flag on the pole at the golf course. So that's 2 stolen bases in this inning for North Greenville.
Yeah, already one appreciated insurance run for Reese Fields next half inning, hoping for more with nobody out here.
Yeah, this has a chance to be a big inning, the 2-1. Curveball line down the left field line, foul. That was hit hard the other way. 2-2 the count to Octavio. It's a pretty amazing recruit to get a kid from Hilo, Hawaii to come to Tigerville, South Carolina, right?
Hopefully by airplane.
That is a long trip. 2-2 to Octavio, swing and a miss. He swatted after that. And that is strikeout number 4 for Fosnot, and that's a big K to try to settle things down. Now Ethan Stringer. Stringer 0 for 2, fly to center, struck out. He's got the red bat going there. Does that mean he's red hot at the plate? Takes the ball 1-0. I don't know. I'm really into the colors of the gloves in game 1 and now this bat. Well, North Greenville, you know, one of their colors, their primary color is red, but you don't see that in the uniform.
It's subtle. It's in that conference patch.
Okay, that's about it. 1-1 the count.
And it's in their hearts.
They've got kind of a Raiders look to them. Las Vegas Raiders. A little silver and black. 1 ball, 1 strike to Stringer. That's in for a strike. That was a pitch with a lot of movement right there from Fosnot. 1-2 as Fosnot looks for his 2nd straight strikeout to try to settle things down with a runner at second and 1 out here. One-two pitch. Outside. 2-2 to Stringer, the number 2 hitter. Monteith is on deck, number 3 man. 2-0 in favor of North Greenville. A run in the 2nd on the home run by John Michael Fail. Another run here in the 5th on the RBI single by Bivens. The 2-2. Little comebacker. Fosnot has no hesitation, just goes to first and gets the 2nd out while Bivens goes to 3rd. I mean, I like that. I mean, he might have had a play at 3rd, but why take that chance? It might have been a close play. Just get the out at first.
How many times do we see somebody try to make the exceptional out and wind up empty-handed with no out to show for it?
And plus, if you're smart as a pitcher there, you know, okay, that's the 2nd out I just got. I don't have to worry about that guy getting to 3rd. It might have been different earlier in the inning where you don't want a runner at 3rd and less than 2 outs. Here is Monteith, the number 3 hitter, 0 for 1 fly to center and walked. Wide open stance. Swing and a miss. Took a big rip at that fastball. 0-1.
Right now, all of your hits for North Greenville have come from the bottom half of your lineup. Your 6, 8, and 9 hitters.
Monteith takes high, 1-1. Sophomore from Charleston, South Carolina. You ever been there, Lincoln? I always wanted to go there, but
a couple
I've never
times,
been.
yeah.
Heard it's really nice.
Scenic.
Yeah, it's a place
Enjoy
I
a
definitely
little
want to
breeze.
visit. Yep. Monteith,
Weather's been great here.
2-1. Well, we've been really lucky with the weather. Rubbing up the baseball is Fosnot. This would be really great for him if he can get out of this with just the one run and keep his team really close. Because this inning started out with a couple of singles and there have been a couple of stolen bases. Could have gotten away from him as Monteith takes low, 3-1. But this will be a key pitch here. You would think Monteith is going to be looking to drive something deep. He's got 13 homers this year. And you get ahead in this count, 3-1, could do some damage. Here it is. Strike called in the outside part of the plate with a breaking ball. Takes guts. I mean, you really have to have confidence in your breaking ball to throw it there when you're down in the count, 3-1. But all Monteith was looking for, I think, was fastball there. Payoff pitch. Lifted, foul, out of play.
Pat tore those pants last inning on the base paths. Hopefully not the only pants he packed for the week, if he plans to stick around for a while.
That's a bad tear. Might have gotten a strawberry on that one. Full count pitch coming again to Monteith with a runner at third, Bivens, and 2 outs. Another payoff pitch. Fouled back. They play him fairly deep in the outfield and shaded towards left, as you see the pants that we were talking about. It's going to take some major sewing repair. You got a sewing machine at home? He's going to need one.
Used to be every hotel would give you the needle and thread along with the shower cap.
That would take all night with these pants. 3-2, fouled out of play right side, and remains 3-2. I mean, I'd feel bad for Monteith. He'd have to spend all day tomorrow fixing that.
He's got all day tomorrow. Win or lose. These guys don't play for another couple days.
That oven mitt glove in his pocket, for a second, just for a second, it kind of looks like a walkie-talkie.
Morse code on it?
Yeah. Well, he's talking into that walkie-talkie, maybe saying, hey, I need a hit right here. Got to bring home that runner.
Over.
3-2. Inside ball 4. Over and out. But not out. On base. So Monteith, his second walk of the game, and that is the 4th walk of the game for Fosnot. 2 on, 2 outs for Marek Kloop, and you did not want to get to him in this situation because he's dangerous.
And arguably due. Kloop's had a foul out and a fly out, and they're going to talk things over before Kloop has a chance to come up with 2 outs and a runner on.
So the Golden Rams will try to figure this out here. Pitching coach John Fleming out to the mound. I mean, you just walked about her, but I'm not sure that you wouldn't work around Kloop. I know you don't want to just walk him, but I mean, he's so dangerous. He's 0 for 2 today, popped to first, line to left, but he's hitting over 400 with 12 homers. I just still wouldn't give him anything too good to hit because he could break this game open with one swing.
6th batter this inning began with those back-to-back singles. Already one of the runners has scored. North Greenville finally with insurance in this ball game.
Conference Carolina's Player of the Year coming up here. Runner at third, Bivens, who drove in a run with a single. Runner at first, Monteith, who just walked. And it's a key spot in this game here in the 5th inning, as the Crusaders have a chance to break it open, up 2-0. That pitch is high to Kloop, 1-0.
Looking for at least his 73rd RBI on the year.
Chlup, spelled C-H-L-U-P. Trying to get it done. There goes the runner from first. High pitch, throw to second, they'll cut it off. And that will be a stolen base for Monteith, his 16th of the season without being caught. And now 2 men in scoring position. Well, Gifford knew he didn't have a chance at him there, so threw right to the cutoff man. That's the third stolen base of this inning. 1 run is in. And Chlup is ahead 2-0. Do you just go ahead and walk him?
Well, you've got that base empty now.
Yeah, they're just working around him, 3-0. Chlup kind of knows here that they're not going to give him anything too good. Does he have the green light on 3-0? I mean, this is where you just put him on, I think. You don't take any chances.
Josh Center on deck.
And a bluff to second base. It all started this inning with a single by Jax Cash, who stole second and went to third on a pass ball. Scored on a single by Bivens, who stole second. Eventually got to third on a comebacker to the pitcher. And the walk by Monteith, and he steals second. So second and third. 3-0. In there for a strike called. 3-1. Well, now it's going to be interesting because if you're working around him, what do you give him on 3-1? You can't throw it right down the middle. He's looking to drive one. Three-one pitch. Outside, ball 4, and that's pretty good pitching, I think. Even though you've had back-to-back walks and the bases are loaded, you did not want Chlup to hurt you there. 5th walk of the game for Fosnot.
Yeah, instead he put the bat in the hands of Josh Center. And we'll see if Josh takes this personally. A 300 hitter with 11 home run. You see who Westchester has warming up. The unique delivery.
Dylan Howanitz, freshman. The sidearm delivery getting loose. Runners leading all around. The bases loaded with 2 outs. Big spot in this game for Center, who's 0 for 2. And he takes a little bit low, 1-0.
Well, it's Center's job to basically protect Chlup in the lineup by punishing pitchers who pitch around Chlup. Center, your number 5 hitter in this lineup. 0 for 2 today.
Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch. 1-1. It has been a very long inning. This is the 7th man to hit in this inning. 27 pitches in the inning for Fosnot. And if he can get out of this with just 1 run scored, it would be pretty amazing. The 1-1. Fouled out of play right side, 1-2. He's 1 strike away from getting out of it with just the 1 run.
North Greenville went in order in the first inning, but have managed to get a base runner on every inning since then. For a second time, they have scored today.
Bivens at third, Monteith at second, Chlup at first with 2 down. 1-2 to Center. Here's the pitch. High with a fastball, 2-2. Try to get him to chase that. Well, this is where Fosnot is really good with his changeup. Can also come in on a right-handed batter with a cutter.
Just want to make sure you're on the same page with your catcher. Any pass ball or wild pitch brings that runner home.
2-2 offering. Down and in. Now it's 3-2, and the runners will go here with 2 down. So they'll have that advantage. If Center hits one in the alley, they could score 3.
Something's got to give.
Full count with 2 down. Fosnot ready. Runners go. 3-2 to Center. Ground ball hit hard to third. Fielded by Flaherty and takes it to the bag himself. And the inning is over. That was a huge play to get out of it with just the 1 run scoring for North Greenville. They had a couple of base hits. They leave the bases loaded. They've left 6. It's 2-0 North Greenville. here at Coleman Field, Cary, North Carolina. And we are in there somewhere. Actually, there we are. Yeah, one of us is waving. It's just a great perch that we have here for the Division II Baseball Championship. Day number 2. Awesome weather. Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. 2-0 in favor of North Greenville as we go to the 6th. And that was really something, the way Fosnock got out of that with only the 1 run scored. It kept his team in the game.
Yeah, that was a fun little sprint to third base to try to record that final out.
That ball was hit hard to Flaherty by center. It almost looked like Flaherty wasn't even ready for how hard that was hit, but he fielded it. So now back to work after a very long inning. Reese Fields, it seems like he hasn't been on the mound in a while. So he goes back out there. 71 pitches in his outing. And he has pitched so well, throwing a shutout so far with only 2 hits allowed. He has struck out 5, has not walked any, or rather he has walked 1, but that was back in the first inning. He hasn't walked anybody since then. And did hit a batter in that inning too. Horn, Kalick, and Ferrara, 2, 3, and 4 in the order for Westchester. And there's a strike to Justin Horn, 0-1. He is 0 for 1, struck out and had a sac bunt.
Yeah, Horn's your DH these days for Westchester, 5th-year senior with opening day shortstop, but shoulder injury.
There's a bullet into right center, a base hit. The second baseman, Octavio, went the wrong way when he saw that pitch coming in, and that is a leadoff single for Horn.
Yeah, shoulder looking pretty good on that swing.
I think Octavio guessed, and he guessed completely wrong as to where that ball was going to go off the bat. I mean, he might have had a chance to field that, but he was completely headed to his right. And he's even saying something to Reese Fields, hey, my bad, my fault, I should have been there for that. Here's Kalick, 0 for 1, walked, flied to left. Horn at first, 21 out of 24 on stolen bases. We'll watch him. Not going. Bunted after and missed by Kalick, 0-1.
Yeah, there's just something to be said for getting that bunt down in your first try. It can be such a battle afterwards.
I'm not sure why you bunt here. I mean, first of all, you're down by 2, and you still have plenty of innings to go, but why not, if you have a base stealer like Horn, if you feel comfortable with him running, why not just give him a pitch to run on and not give up a batter and get an out on a bunt? There's a called strike, 0-2. It's your number 3 hitter up there, too.
Yeah, you can do a variety of things. Looked like he was not going to obviously pull that bunt back. So it wasn't a matter of the runner trying to go and just having a bat in the line of vision for the catcher. But again, we see guys who can execute a bunt. Doesn't necessarily mean they're giving themselves up for a cheap out.
And it might have been him bunting on his own. That gets behind the catcher, Cash, onto second. Goes Horn. I believe that's going to be a pass ball that allows Horn into scoring position. Let's see if it's a pass ball or a wild pitch. We'll be able to tell here as Cash. Yeah, that's a close one. I don't know. I'd probably go pass ball, but
I'll disagree just for fun.
1-2 to Kalick. Now runner at second. Fields deals. That's launched in the deep left center field. Stringer there, though, and he's got it. Again, the ball just not carrying very well out into left center, so Kalick is out number 1. It's the second time I think he hit a ball like that where it looked like it would go and it, maybe get to the warning track, and it didn't even come close.
Need to adjust the sound levels on his bat.
First baseman Mike Ferrara.
Here's Mike Ferrara, 1 for 1, a double. He's been hit by a pitch. Had a base running mistake when he was picked off second in the 4th. It's something that could come back to haunt the Golden Rams in a tight game like this. Trying to make up for it here with a runner at second. Standing straight up at the plate. You can't stand more straight up than that. Check swing bouncer. Could be a tough play. Fields bobbling. Can't come up with it. Coming around third and scoring is Horn. The Golden Rams are on the board 2-1 on a mistake by Fields, who just couldn't get the handle on it.
Everybody here has seen a lot of baseball this year in their lifetime. You have never seen that.
Little check swing bouncer. And there was a chance that Fields could make that play himself. It was not going to be easy. But the fact that he bobbled it turned into a run.
Right here.
If he fields that cleanly, I think he gets the first pretty easily for the out.
Even if he doesn't field it cleanly but secures that ball, then that run hasn't scored. But Westchester quickly pulls the run back that they gave up last half inning.
So the second error of the game for North Greenville is a costly one. The first one did not cost them. And now you have the tying run on base for Luke Cantwell and conversation at the mound.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's panicking that you just gave up a base hit on a check swing and then struggled to secure that ball on your way to first. This is just making sure everybody keeps it in perspective.
Got some action in the bullpen for North Greenville with Brent Herlong, the graduate student, right-hander throwing.
Just a little light toss. Again, I don't think there's a great deal of concern, but they are mindful that is the tying run on first.
I think my greatest concern here for Fields would be his mindset after that play, because he's got to be upset.
I think they just go out there and say, shake it off.
Right. But that's not easy to do because you're so upset with yourself. But that would be the best thing to do. And here is Luke Cantwell, who struck out twice, looking in the first, swinging in the fourth. Runner at first, one out. And that runner can steal Ferrara. 14 steals this year and pitch in the dirt. But again, Ferrara's the guy who was picked off in the fourth. He might be a little gun shy as far as trying to steal a base. Infield playing the hitter Cantwell to pull again. Second baseman Octavio is almost straight up the middle. Outfield pretty much straight away. Cantwell, who had a nice catch in right earlier, trying to do it with a bat here. Ferrara drew that throw, being held at first by Holiday. Fields ready to go. 1-0 to Cantwell. Hit in the air, weakly into center field. Center coming in. 2 down. Now Keith Flaherty, who made the play at third in the last inning. He's up there 0 for 2, flying to center, struck out. Each team has 3 hits, and North Greenville with a 1-run lead.
Half of the hits in this game have come over the past 2 half innings.
Golden Rams have been dying to score, and how do they score? On a check swing bouncer on the first base side.
Yeah, the way you draw it up.
Flaherty at the plate. He's play him to pull too. It's interesting because, I mean, the scouting report must be that a lot of these hitters are pull hitters, Flaherty being one of them here, because again, Octavio is playing straight up the middle at second base.
Forget launch angle. Let me know what angle that check swing was.
There's a huge hole on the right side of the infield with the first baseman holding the runner, and the second baseman playing up the middle, swing and a miss. I mean, you could check a swing on the right side and you could run for days. I mean, it's just so easy.
This is tailor-made for a Mike Ferrara check swing.
Yeah, I mean, you check a swing here, you got a base hit easy. And now Octavio actually moving even further over to the shortstop side. I mean, he was playing straight up the middle. Now he's even further over, creating more of a gap. 1 and 2 to Flaherty. But you do have to make contact, and that's the most important thing. You could be thinking, I got to hit to the right side, but you got to hit it first. Fields deals. Grounder in the hole on the other side of the infield for a base hit. Ferrara getting to third as the throw comes in. And in at second base is Flaherty as center threw it in to the shortstop, or rather the second baseman over there, and didn't throw it to the bag at second, and that allowed Flaherty to get to second.
That ball took so long to scoop up. By the time you get to it, your throw is not to third. Have to be able to get that into seconds to keep runners on the corners. Great job of hitting by Flaherty. Still finds a way to shoot it through.
Well, yeah, there's no play. And actually, I believe that was Stringer, the left fielder, who threw that in. And there's no play at third. I don't know why you would throw towards third. You'd throw to second base.
That was a free 90 feet for Flaherty.
So second and third with 2 outs. Second hit of the inning. And now you got the tying run 90 feet away and the go-ahead run in scoring position with Ferrara and Flaherty with good speed on the bases. Here's Sestawicki 0 for 2. Liner caught at first base by Holiday, and the inning is over just like that. But the Golden Rams do get a run on the board for the first time today. They do it with 2 hits. There was 1 error that was costly, and 2 left. Middle of the 6th, 2-1, North Greenville. Tight ball game as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. North Greenville, that team right there, leading it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And John Michael Fail will lead off. He homered in the 2nd and has walked. One of the 2 runs that have been scored for the Crusaders. His 16th homer of the year. And in case you just joined us, he had been out of action for a month, exactly a month, had to have knee surgery after he tore his meniscus running the bases in the conference tournament. His first at-bat back, a homer to center field that went over 400 feet.
After tonight, what do you think more kids go home and try to recreate? John Michael Fail's home run or Mike Ferrara's check swing?
I'm going with the Fail home run.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that if John Sterling were calling his home run, if he was a Yankee, the Yankees radio announcer, he'd probably say, "It never fails." John Michael Fail. First pitch to Fail. In there for a called strike from Fosnot, who was like Houdini in the 5th inning. I mean, he did give up a run, but he was very fortunate as he left the bases loaded and did not give up more than the 1 run in the 5th. And pitched very wisely. There's a little looper into center. That's a base hit. Fail can't run very fast on that knee, so he will hold up at first base. So he's 2 for 2 with a walk in his return.
Yeah.
Now he is going to be slow moving on the bases.
Just imagine if he had 2 bad knees, how well he'd be doing.
Yeah. You don't want to pinch run for him because it's too early in the game. His spot could come up again. Jordan Holiday at the plate, 0 for 2, struck out. Line to right, Cantwell made a diving catch on him that left a couple of men on base. 5 men have been left on base in the last 2 innings for the Crusaders. There's a called strike, 0-1. So Fosnot has really been battling to keep his team in this game.
Yeah, for North Greenville, it's a glass half full, glass half empty. You're finally getting opportunities at least. Finally found a much-needed run last inning, only to give it back.
You know, you wondered how would Fosnot feel coming out this inning because he threw 36 pitches in the last inning. This is his 99th pitch of the game.
3rd straight inning, the first North Greenville hitter has reached.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. Well, that's taxing when you have those leadoff men getting on base and you're throwing a ton of pitches. You got to give him credit for lasting this long into the game.
Well, again, 4 free passes over the last 2 innings as well.
And 5 walks in the game. 1-2 to Holiday is on the way. Swing and a foul off the catcher's mitt. So it remains 1-2 to Jordan Holiday, the number 7 hitter. Jack's Cash on deck. I don't even know if I'd hold Fail at first base. I mean, I know that's the conventional thing to do, but he's not going anywhere. I mean, it's got to be station to station for Fail. 1-2 to Holiday. Breaking ball fouled, out of play on the right side. This is the time of evening right here where if you hit a ball in the air somewhere, it can be definitely difficult to see right away. Got that twilight, got some cloud cover. I don't know if that hurts or helps with the lights on.
Angelo State awaits the winner of this one on Tuesday evening, while Southern New Hampshire in an elimination game Tuesday afternoon awaits the team that comes up short here.
That's hit into right for Cantwell. 1 away, back to first goes Fail. They'll throw in over there just in case.
Fail going halfway, knowing he's not going to be able to tag up on that one.
The 5 walks, by the way, a season high for Fosnot. But I think in the last inning, it was actually a good thing that he had at least one of the walks to Kloop. Now here's Cash, who has singled and grounded to short and scored a run. Pitch to Cash, breaking ball, grounded foul on the third base side. How about the third base coach trying to make a spectacular play?
Trying to get a little action in over there.
Oh and 1 the count to Cash. Fail at first, 1 out. Cash backs out. We mentioned that he's also a pitcher. He had to have Tommy John surgery from pitching. And this is a player in Cash who had a lot of Division I offers, but really wanted to play for Coach Landon Powell. So here he is with North Greenville. Lines one into right field. That's a base hit. Fail will get to second. He's going to try for third. Cantwell throws in, and no throw to third as it's cut off. As Sestawicki holds on to it. First and third with 1 out. And I'll tell you what, Fail, for a guy who had surgery on his knee, he was moving pretty well around second. So much for the station-to-station stuff.
Yeah, Fail might need a moment just to catch his breath. He never hesitated. Rounding second. Westchester had no play, and a good job not making that throw to third, because that way you keep Cash on first, at least for now. We know Cash is capable of taking a bag.
How'd you rehab a month after surgery? Well, I hit a 400-foot homer, and I sprinted from first to third.
Yeah. That's the most running he's actually done today. Remember, the home run got to trot. The walk didn't ever budge off first.
And he looked good going around second. I was surprised he could go into another gear like that. Corey Bivens at the plate. He drove in a run with a single his last trip, 1 for 2. 1 away, and runners at the corners. Can Fosnout get out of this and keep it at a 1-run deficit for Westchester? Bivens takes a strike, 0-1.
North Greenville had 1 hit through the first 4 innings, the home run from John Michael Fail. Now 4 hits over the last 2 innings as they have found insurance and looking for more.
Oh, 0-1 to Bivens. Runner goes from first. Pop-up. Way up in the sky on the right side of the infield for Miles. Runner heading back to first. Catch made. Cash had to hustle back. Well, that ball was up in the sky, and he was fortunate it was hit way up there. 2 down.
Yeah, Zach Miles almost looked like he was both playing the ball while trying to get his momentum shifting towards first so he could maybe make a throw. As I think sneaking into his peripheral vision was Cash briefly, but ultimately only had the 1 out to record.
Garrig Octavio, the leadoff hitter, 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. He does have a walk and a run scored. The leadoff man up there trying to deliver here in a 2-1 ball game in favor of North Greenville. Number 1 seed Crusaders against number 8 seed Golden Rams.
Almost a non-existent lead off a third for John Michael Fail.
Nice pick right there by the catcher Gifford. Anything that gets by him, you wonder if Fail would try to score.
Fail wonders if Fail would try to score.
Well, it'd be interesting because
he is not taking any liberties over there at third right now.
Probably wouldn't take that chance with a good hitter up there unless it really scooted somewhere behind the catcher where he couldn't get to it quickly. The pitch is high because generally you think about this ballpark and it takes a while for the ball to get to the backstop. It's a pretty good distance and you could score. But when you just had knee surgery,
allegedly,
yeah, and you sprinted from first to third, how is that knee feeling right now? I don't know. 2-0 to Octavio. Fosnot deals. Ooh, that missed a little bit high, and it seemed like Octavio kind of was bending down to get that call. 3-0.
This is our 4th game this week, and I'm pretty sure 3 of the 4 games we've had a player returning from an injury. Returning to the lineup for the first time here in Cary.
Yeah, we've seen players with broken hands, knee surgery, and coming back to play. 3-0. Strike called. That's how much it means to these players to participate in this event. They're doing anything they can to get on the field. 3-1 to Octavio. This is another key spot right here for Fosnot and the Golden Rams to stay in the game. Snap throw to first base. I mean, at least to stay close. Two left on in the fourth, 3 left on in the fifth. Can Fosnot leave another 2 on base here in the sixth? 3-1. Fouled back, full count. Now the runner at first will automatically go. Jack's Cash on 3-2 with 2 down. So the first baseman, Ferrara, will play behind the runner. So base hit here in the gap. Could score 2. The outfield playing shallow and towards left. Octavio only 1 home run this year. There goes Cash, 3-2. Fouled out of play left side. Cash will have to run again. Getting his exercise. Two runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for North Greenville. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for Westchester. Fosnot well over 100 pitches in this game. And a ton of pitches the last 2 innings. Runner goes, payoff pitch again to Octavio, grounded up the middle. That's a base hit into center field. Fail scores. Cash on his way to third, gets in easily as the throw comes in from right. RBI single for Octavio. 3-1 North Greenville.
Well, John Michael Fail made it happen. The leadoff single this inning. He goes from first to third when Jack's Cash reaches on the single, and now it's Cash going quickly from first to third. Almost an extra boost of momentum while touching second base.
And here comes the head coach, Mike LaRosa, out to the mound. That might be all for Fosnot. That's a satisfying feeling right there.
He's touched home twice today. I don't know if that's the highest speed he's reached while crossing home plate or not. It was a gentle jog the last time with his home run. Now, there's been no credible warming up in the bullpen, so right now you're just buying time for that bullpen.
How about the fact that Octavio hit it up the middle in a spot where he's been playing defensively all day to avoid hitters getting a base hit up the middle? They weren't playing him that way. And he hits it up the middle for sort of the conventional base hit that for about 100 years was a base hit no matter what. But they weren't playing him up the middle, and he hit it right up there.
You saw Dylan Hoanitz. We've seen him for a while now in that bullpen, but again, he has just resumed kind of a casual toss.
Well, we're gonna stay with the same pitcher here as Coach LaRosa made that decision.
Now, I won't be surprised if you see a kind of a casual throw over to first. A look back at the runner on third, maybe buy your bullpen a little bit longer.
You know, I think that actually was the pitching coach, John Fleming, who went out to the mound, by the way. Here's Stringer, takes high for a ball, 1-0.
So North Greenville recaptures that insurance run that they surrendered in the top half of this inning.
Cash at third base. That one's drilled in the left field corner, hooking all the way, and it is foul. Stringer gave that a ride. Fail got it started with a single. Cash singled. And then Octavio driving in a run with a single.
Yeah, it's the 4th time the lineup is now seeing Brandon Fosnot.
There goes the runner. Strike call, no throw to second, so that's a stolen base for Octavio, his 21st of the year. And now it's second and third with 2 down. The count moving to 1-2. Fosnot trying to prevent further damage. Time call. That pitch does not count. Fosnot up to 116 pitches now. And we're only in the 6th inning. It's a ton of pitches to be throwing. 21 in this inning after 36 pitches in the previous inning. 1-2 to Stringer. Fouled at a play right side. It remains 1-2. These Crusaders hitters, they're really making Fosnot work. They're fouling off balls. And I mean, he's been out there forever, it seems. 2 men in scoring position here. Looking to put up a crooked number, North Greenville. Fosnot likes the sign from Gifford. Ready to go on 1-2 to Stringer. Here it is. Curveball grounded up the third base line. Backhanded by Flaherty. Long throw to first. Dug out of there in time by Ferrara. What a play by the first baseman. That was not easy. And they're able to get Stringer at first for no more damage. 1 run does come in, though. And even though this nice play is made by Flaherty at third, it's a 2-run lead for North Greenville as we go to the 7th.
On to the 7th inning in a 3-1 ball game. Your number 1 seed this week, North Greenville, living up to the hype. Right now a 3-1 advantage over the 8 seed Westchester. 8 very deserving teams making their way to Cary, North Carolina, but of course the nature of this tournament. All 8 teams are here for one reason. They just keep winning this postseason. But by rule, the way we have this format, 7 of the 8 teams are going to come up short of that ultimate goal. Westchester, the only school in this field to have tasted success. They've done it twice, 2012 and 2017.
For Westchester here in the top of the 7th, is
both of those years they went a perfect 4-0. So they've won their last 8 games on this big stage, scattered over the past decade now. Looking for a comeback here. Reese Field still going strong in his start. They have once again given him an insurance lead to work with. It is the 8-9 and top spot of the order due up. J.R. Gifford at the plate. And Field's doing what you would like to see from every pitcher who's been given a new insurance run to play with. Throw strikes.
Yeah, you hate it when a guy comes out there with a couple runs as the lead and he just throws balls.
Just start painting around the edges of the plate.
Yeah,
never giving your defense a chance. Westchester out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. North Greenville out of Tigerville, South Carolina. Meanwhile, the Tigers of South Carolina play in Greenville. Strikeout and reaching on the error back in the 5th inning for Gifford so far today. The 2-2. Shot into left, it'll get down, and the number 8 hitter produces a base hit here in the 7th inning. Still 9 outs to work with for a comeback for the Golden Rams.
The only reason that a comeback is possible from just a 2-run deficit is the way Fosnot was able to get out of those situations. We're going to see a pinch runner at first base, by the way.
It is a critical run. So you pull your catcher. And they are going to use 4 men to run for him, apparently.
No, John DiMucci, who's also a catcher, but apparently runs a lot better, is going to be the pinch runner.
Gotcha.
Well, he does have 10 steals, so I'm going to say yes, he runs a lot better.
I thought that might lead to a protest.
Your attention, please, now. Pitch running at first base, number 2, John DiMucci.
DiMucci, the sophomore, one of your LaSalle transfers on this squad out of Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. 10 for 12 on the year in the stolen base department. And it's Zach Miles, the 9 hitter, coming up. Miles 0 for 2 today with a ground out and fly out. We just saw Gifford breaking over. Reese Fields just now putting the punctuation on the lineup for a third time today, while his teammates have worked their way the fourth time through the lineup. Right now, a 2-run lead to show for it. Tying run at the plate with Miles. A modest lead for DiMucci back in time. In a scenic backdrop. Easy to get distracted here with championship ramifications on the baseball diamond. Sun setting, all the colors cast on the trees in the backdrop.
Yeah, some of the coaches did talk about how you can get a little bit nervous at the beginning of games. But I think once you get to the late innings of a game like this, in your first game in this tournament, now you've settled in and you're not as nervous, and it's just a regular baseball game in some ways in your head.
The 1-1. As of right now, both starting pitchers still in this ball game.
I mean, I got to give credit to Fields after that error he made. He could have just mentally blown up, but he didn't, and he got out of that situation in the sixth with just the 1-run scoring.
Justin Horn scored, but they would strand 2 more in scoring position. They lead off this inning with a single from J.R. Gifford. DiMucci running for him.
It was an unearned run because of the error, but I always have a beef with that because if you make the error, you earn that run. Wait a minute.
Our pitcher pitches. Don't blame him for fielding. Our pitcher got the check swing.
Yeah, but when he fumbled it and it turned into a run, I don't know. To me, that's an earned run. I know it's not in the scorebook. Got enough batting gloves there in his pockets?
I think everybody's ripped their pants in solidarity.
Looked like he had 2 batting gloves in each pocket. Those were taking up a lot of room.
The 2-2. Our old colleague, Brian Tuttle, can sympathize. Can never have too many batting gloves, even if you're operating camera.
That's right. He used to have the batting gloves out there. Speaking of batting gloves, there's a couple on the hands of the hitter, Miles. It's always interesting to see hitters who don't go with batting gloves because most hitters do. He likes to choke up on the bat a little bit there.
Octavio, the second baseman, again shifts closer to second here. So a big gap on the right side with nobody out. Wow. Miles looks at a called third strike. That's a big first out. Has a couple of right arms in the bullpen for Westchester.
Well, that was a knee-buckling breaking ball right there. That's a curveball, and that thing just buckled his knees. He didn't have a chance. That was perfectly placed by Fields.
Nice job by his catcher, Cash, to make sure he squeezes that one.
6 strikeouts.
Top of the order, here's Zach Wright. Probably robbed of a base hit back in the first inning. 1 for 3 today. Singled in the third. Left side to Monteith. Looking for the lead out. Trying to turn 2. Will be just short of doing so. But they do retire DiMucci, who will be putting on the catcher's equipment, presumably, for the next half inning. As on the fielder's choice, reaching right now your base runner at first.
And here's where you wonder. I mean, you've got Wright at first, who has 39 stolen bases this year. Do you have the hitter just take a pitch, let him try to steal second, get into scoring position here with 2 down?
Horn today, a single, a run scored, a sac bunt. We'll see if they're on the same page as you.
I got to have him running here. He doesn't have a very big lead yet.
Oh, that would have been the moment.
Oh, he thought about going when he saw that the catcher, Cash, couldn't locate the ball right away.
He was already inclined to go back to first. Had he been thinking about taking second, that would have been the green light. Zach Wright back in time. 2 spot in the order. Justin Horn at the plate, representing the tying run.
It's a single season school record for stolen bases, the 39 steals.
No home runs this year for Horn. Your DH today for Westchester.
Some of the best base stealers don't take a huge lead because they don't want to be leaning back towards first base. They want to really kind of have their momentum going towards second, or at least planting their foot to get ready to go.
The 2-0 runner is going. Batted ball right into the glove of Fields, who will give it a toss over to first. Big grin from your starting pitcher, going strong through 7 innings. Giving a 2-run lead, maintaining a 2-run lead here in Cary. Don't always trust what you see.
Why,
now,
is that too dark for you?
We happen to have a cloud behind those lights off of the distance, but this is beautiful out right now. There's still blue skies, a setting sun, and for right now, optimism still for Westchester that they can find a win here on their opening day and win a 9th straight game here in the D2 Baseball Championship over this past decade.
Well, they're going to need to hold it
go.
down. Yeah, that's the way it really looks. Got to hold it down to this 2-run deficit, and they're hoping that Dylan Howenitz can do that. The redshirt freshman from Archbald, Pennsylvania, 6'3" submarine pitcher. They need him to do the same thing that Fosnot was doing, which is limit the damage, as Fosnot left 8 men on base in his 6 innings of work.
So Dylan is the first man out of the bullpen for either team. Unique delivery. And the first pitch will lead to an out. Monteith a little charge into it. But after walking twice today, retired for a second time.
Man, he jumped all over that pitch. But you know, that was one of those where it didn't have a lot of velocity, 77 miles an hour. So sometimes you need more velocity from the pitch to have it travel. And we have not seen the ball carry that well today as well as it could be if the wind had been blowing out a little bit.
Not for anybody with 2 good knees.
I say that, but we did have back-to-back homers in our first game on 2 consecutive pitches.
That team lost.
And that team did lose. Southern New Hampshire.
Merritt Kloop. They essentially were able to pitch around him and walk him in the 5th in a dangerous situation. He comes up here, 1 out, nobody on. Count 1-1. And Dylan Howenitz facing his second batter in relief. 19th appearance on the year, a 4.5 ERA. Opposing hitters batting .259.
What's going on in his glove? You see that? He has some number on it or something like that.
The 1-2 to Kloop. Oof, off the ankle. But as you mentioned, 79 miles per hour. He'll live.
We've seen quite a few hit by pitches today in 2 games.
Well,
Yeah,
off the
looked
heel.
like- yeah,
Best,
that's not gonna hurt.
best possible spot.
Yeah, I don't think that'll hurt at all.
Somebody needs to check to see if the baseball's okay.
Right.
Just got hit by Kloop. And Kloop is just back in time. Josh Center at the plate has reached twice on fielder's choices. 0 for 3 with a flyout. Second free pass to Merritt Kloop. Barring a double play, John Michael Fail, who you speculated might get to bat one more time. Well, that was last inning that you speculated that. as a reason not to run for him, and sure enough, he came home to score. Now the runner is going, and a nice throw gets Kloop 2 away.
Wow. DiMucci came in the game after he was a pinch runner in the last half inning, so he's a new catcher, and he just guns down Kloop.
They're going to challenge the play.
Well, to the naked eye, it looked like he's out. But
Yeah.
keep in mind, Kloop, 29 out of 31 on stolen bases, only caught twice. But that throw was perfect.
It is our first review of the game, so we remind you both coaches have 2 challenges. As long as you get your challenges correct, you get to keep them.
Well, it's worth a challenge. Drew Eaton, the second base umpire, was pretty convinced. I mean, he didn't wait on that call. He did not hesitate. He just made that call that he's out. And to the naked eye, just looking at it live, looked like a perfect throw, and he was out on a close play.
The
Let's see.
ruling on the field is out. So the burden is to find something that conclusively tells you that that hand is on the bag before that glove is on the hip.
I see out right there. Let's see it again.
I will say the fact that that tag is not made until it's on the hip is reason to believe, but
But you can't really tell.
So again,
From that angle.
that would fail to be conclusive otherwise.
I mean, the ball's there, and the tag is made.
That very first angle is probably the one they'll favor.
He's out.
This right here probably tells you the most.
I mean, you're hoping for...
You do at least see the left hand. Respect to the bag. Tag is not yet applied. There it is,
out.
And he's out.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping for super slow-mo and freezing it and all that, and that's where it gets to be ridiculous. I mean, he's out. The ball's there. He makes the tag. There's no mistake made.
But props to our crew. They're able to give them every look that they could want right here, and I think that's your conclusive look. Tag is applied right there, and the hand had not yet reached the base.
I'm pretty sure that was Sestawicki, right, who made the tag. I mean, he did a nice job on that. He got positioned perfectly.
Again, we anticipate that the ruling on the field will be upheld.
I mean, if that is reversed, I'll be shocked.
We did not believe that we saw anything that would give you reason to overturn it.
That would be shocking if that is overturned. I mean, to me, he's just out. There's just no doubt about it. And it's a good challenge because you might as well use your challenge in a close play, no doubt. And you never know. And we've seen where these things can go haywire. But, yeah, that's got to be just out.
So, again, our umpires are not looking at the monitors. It's being relayed to them from upstairs. As officials in a controlled environment able to look, and they do uphold the call of out.
One more look at it.
Caught stealing. And there's just nothing there that would have overturned it.
And actually, it was Miles who made that tag. Nice job by Miles. Caught it and placed the tag down fairly quickly.
Well, now there's a chance John Michael Fail does not bat this inning. Here's Josh Center. Still at the plate where he was when that throw was made. Now a 3-1 count. First strike.
Looks like the number 44 is on his glove or something for some reason. Maybe he borrowed a glove. Talking about the pitcher, Mr. Howenitz.
Howenitz able to keep him at the plate with a couple of strikes here. There was a fly out and a hit batter, but that hit batter, Kloop, has been caught stealing. Again, this one punched foul. Now that it is the 7th inning, umpires can also initiate challenges. Make sure they got the call correct. Well, that is a big free pass. Josh Center extends this inning for the most dangerous man who had not been in the North Greenville lineup for a while. But John Michael Fail, a home run today, a walk, a single, 2 runs scored. Your DH is back for more.
That's 6 walks for the Westchester pitchers. It has not come back to bite him all that much.
All three men who have scored today for North Greenville reached via base hit, a home run and 2 singles. Now, to be fair, 2 of those 3 men are named John Michael Fail. See if he can average 1 run per name. Runner going, hitting behind the runner. This one will carry out towards right. Cantwell underneath it. And for the first time today, John Michael Fail is retired. Promising start for North Greenville, but the lead remains the same, 3-1. Wrapping up the final innings of day 2 here in Cary, North Carolina. All 8 teams still remain in the hunt. 3 of them have suffered their first loss, while 3 more teams have already moved on to the winner's bracket. One of these 2 teams will move on to that winner's bracket on Tuesday. The other team will face elimination for the first time on Tuesday. And for the first time, it's not Reese Fields taking the mound here in Cary. For North Greenville, it's Brent Herlong.
Yeah, he's been one of the best relievers for the Crusaders. 7-1 record out of the bullpen with a 2.05 ERA. This will be his 29th appearance all in relief. He's got 1 save, and he's only walked 5 in 57 innings. So great job by him. Great job by the starter, Fields. 7 innings, 1 run. It was unearned. Only walked 1, only gave up 4 hits and struck out 6.
It would be an ambitious save situation, but it is a save situation with still 3 innings to go.
Herlong, his fastball is only 83 miles an hour, but he throws a cutter, a slider, and uses a lot of different arm angles to be successful.
My math is off. Just 2 innings, potentially.
Right.
And Zach Zara, the man who can play anywhere on the field, is coming in defensively at first base for Jordan Holiday.
Left fielder Joe Kaler.
Zara wearing number 99, although we can't really see it with that uniform. But
yeah, they've enjoyed having him as a lefty in the lineup, but right now out there defensively, he was the tournament MVP as the left fielder a couple weeks back. Right now Herlong just trying to work his way through the meat of this Westchester lineup. Here's Joe Kalick. Couple of flyouts to left along with a walk, 0 for 2 today. Look, North Greenville's enjoyed the lead most of this ball game, but it's never been more than it is right now. And this is far from an insurmountable lead for the Golden Rams. But down on strikes, Kalick, 1 away.
Man, he's floating the ball in there, but those arm angles can really distract a hitter. I mean, take a look at Herlong, where this ball's coming from. And it almost looks like a wiffle ball with a break that it had on there.
Tristan Hudson leads this team in saves with 5. Nobody else with more than 1, including Herlong. As Mike Ferrara at the plate has been able to run the bases all 3 times. It was stranded on third back in the 6th inning. And he almost had one of his trademark check swing base hits right there. But it went foul. An 0-2 hole.
I think it's really hard to adjust to a pitcher like Herlong after facing somebody who throws a bit harder. It's not like Fields was throwing 95, but he still got it up to about 90, 91. And these are really slow pitches coming into these hitters.
0-2 into foul territory, giving chase is Zara. And Zara was going to give it everything he could. Again, that's a guy with a lot of range. Just happens to be subbing in at first base here defensively.
The great one, number 99, Wayne Gretzky. For you hockey fans.
from 20 years ago.
Hall of Famer.
Stole some of his quotes from Michael Scott. Mike Ferrari, your cleanup hitter, again, has been hit by a pitch, has doubled, had that check swing that led to an error, and, well, down on strikes, 2 away.
This is proof positive that you don't have to throw hard to get strikeouts.
Brent Herlong, 2 batters faced, 2 batters swinging.
That was 71 miles an hour on that breaking ball. It's got a lot of spin on it. He's thrown all strikes so far.
Luke Cantwell struck out twice against Reese Fields, the starter. Takes a hack at the first pitch. Similar result, as he's 0 for 3 today.
8 pitches, 8 strikes.
Right side. Now can somebody get to first base in time? Yes. With that huge shift, you've got Zara, a shortstop, covering that ground at first base, basically. Just needed a target. Herlong gave it to him. That's 3 up, 3 down. A 3-1 lead still intact. Well, Brent Herlong squashed Westchester's hopes of starting to chip away at a 2-run deficit. Westchester will be down to their final 3 outs in the 9th, but first North Greenville a chance to build their lead. Well, perhaps a little Westchester sky, as Dylan Hoyanitz back on the mound in relief of Braden Fosnot. Both starting pitchers did a great job today saving these bullpens. It's just the one reliever so far. Now, North Greenville may go to their routine closer next inning. We'll see. They might be pleased with what they got from Herlong. Worked a very effective 3 up, 3 down inning. Here is Zara. We mentioned Zara is the guy who makes any coach look like he's got an extra 10 men on the roster, because he can plug in and play any position for you, and he gives you a nice left-handed bat in the lineup. North Greenville otherwise has been pretty heavy this year on right-handed hitters.
That was good coaching by Landon Powell to bring him in defensively at first. Makes a nice play to end the last half inning, and then he leads off this inning.
Well, if you're going to shift that hard, you might as well put a shortstop over there at first base, and that's kind of what you have with Zara. So Zara here in the 7th spot of the order. Bottom third of the order is 3 for 9 today, though this 7th spot was 0 for 3. On deck, Jax Cash is 2 for 3. With a run scored, Bivens 1 for 3 with an RBI. Again, Zara was your MVP of the conference tournament. Does even crack the starting lineup here today. So a lot of good stories buried on these benches, and we'll probably only be able to get to a fraction of them. We will say this: the more you win, the more stories we get to tell.
Yeah, more players get an opportunity.
Again, punched foul.
Zara is from Bethpage, Long Island, New York, where they have that great golf course that they have had majors played, the Bethpage Black. PGA Tour.
Got him.
Ooh. Well, I'll tell you, these two pitchers, they couldn't break a pane of glass with the pitches they're throwing. The gun says 64 miles an hour on that one, and they're getting hitters to chase pitches. That's way out of the strike zone.
Zara convinced he could maybe punch that one the other way.
I don't know if that was 64, but that's what the gun shows.
Cash's singles his last 2 times up. Has stolen a base today, has scored a run. I think coach is going to keep that foul ball for a ice cream sandwich. Hoanitz came in last inning after he had warmed up for a couple of innings. Never great concern, as really this game's never been out of reach. North Greenville struck for a run in the bottom of the 2nd. Added a 2nd run in the 5th. Both teams scored in the 6th. North Greenville hanging on to a 2-run lead. As time is called, and coach wants to talk to Jax Cash, who has a 2-1 count to his name with 1 out.
Something about how to hit a guy who throws from different arm angles and is throwing a lot of breaking stuff.
North Greenville awarded the number 1 seed this week. Westchester the 8th seed. And you can tell only so much separates the top and bottom seed this week.
Great pitching in this game.
Yeah, one of our top 2 games when it comes to all-around pitching, I believe. We had that one game yesterday when, unbelievably, both teams got a complete game out of their pitchers. A couple of All-Americans. I think one was a senior, one was a freshman. Tomorrow we'll see Rollins and UIS in our first elimination game, 1:30 Eastern. Tomorrow night we'll see Southern Arkansas and Point Loma in our first winner's bracket game. One of those 2 teams is going to be arguably your favorite.
Yeah, they'll get 2 days off before their next game on Thursday.
There's a little benefit to starting your journey yesterday if you managed to win a couple. Payoff pitch to Cash, got him. 2 up, 2 down, a couple more strikeouts on the resume of Hoanitz.
He's one of those guys the first time through the order is real difficult. I would think that the second time you might have a better idea against that submarine style.
Well, we'll find out in extra innings.
I don't think he would hang around for that.
Oh, okay. Would you?
Yes, but I don't think he'll still be on the mound.
Here's Corey Bivens. Bivens, an RBI single in the 5th. At the time, put North Greenville up 2-1. Last time we saw Westchester, again, we were in Grand Prairie, Texas. Golden Rams 4-0 that week, able to hold off UC San Diego. I believe we would see the Tritons one more time here in Cary before they transition to Division I. Count 2-2 now to Bivens.
It's going to be the 148th pitch by Westchester pitchers in this game.
Already 2 strikeouts this inning. That one fell.
Man, that's a lot of pitches.
Souvenir for our cameraman. 3 runs on 6 hits tonight for North Greenville. 1 run on 5 hits for Westchester. No base runners to be concerned with. Just a payoff pitch pending here with 2 outs. To the number 9 hitter, Bivens. Struck out the side. Dylan Hoanitz has given the Golden Rams a chance, a window of an opportunity in the top of the 9th, trailing still by just 2. On to the 9th, and for now, it is Brent Herlong's game as he goes onto the mound looking for the save. Came on last inning, pitched the entire 8th. It was a 3-up, 3-down, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Relieving Reese Fields. So for Westchester, if they're going to keep this ball game going, 6, 7, and 8 spots in the lineup are the minimum Herlong will have to face. North Greenville is not interested in swinging their bats again tonight.
Westchester, as you mentioned, as a school, hasn't lost at the Division II championship in a while. Would you say 8 straight wins, right?
Dating back to 2012.
Yeah.
4-0 that year for the title, 4-0 in 17 for the title. Now they spend a few years to catch their breath, but once they get back, just saw Dylan Hoanitz mow down the side. 3 strikeouts there in the 8th inning to give Westchester a chance still to be within just 2 runs here. 1 run on 5 hits today for Westchester. Got him.
Man, we have seen more hitters swinging at pitches out of the strike zone lately against Herlong and Howanitz.
69 miles per hour.
Just floating up there.
I like that Cash still framed this pitch after the swing.
Wow.
Says Tuicki with 1 out, nobody on. Dialed that one up to 76 miles per hour. Could not lay off it. 1-2. Came in last inning to start the 8th in place of a brilliant Reese Fields. Fields allowing just the 1 run on 5 hits. And another Golden Rams hitter who does him a favor. Chasing one out of the strike zone, 2 away.
4 strikeouts out of the 5 batters that he's faced.
Now batting the catcher, John DiMucci.
We saw DiMucci come on as a pinch runner and then catch the next inning. Gets to swing a bat for the first time. And DiMucci's job is get on base any way you can. Here with 2 outs. That would bring the tying run to the plate on deck in Zach Miles. 1-1. DiMucci 1 home run this year, a .226 hitter. He'd wind up being forced out on the base paths after coming in to pinch run. North Greenville fans sense that they may be just a pitch away from punching their ticket to the winner's bracket. They're going to have to be a little patient. Count 2-2. Bivens to Zara. North Greenville, the #1 seed, a 1-0 start in their debut in Cary as they continue through the winner's bracket. Among 8 teams competing for a national championship, among 4 who begin their journey 1-0.
The Golden Rams just could never get their bats going in this game. The only run they scored was because of an error by the pitcher. And really the highlight early on is the one that sticks with me, Lincoln. John Michael Fail hitting a home run in his first at-bat after being out for a month, had knee surgery. And he also was able to single later in the game and score a run. So that was inspirational and just excellent pitching by North Greenville. Their starter Fields, with the exception of that error he made, he was pretty flawless. And then Herlong comes in and retires all 6 that he faces and strikes out 4 of them. So that was impressive.
10th win of the year for Fields. For Herlong, his 2nd save, a 2-inning save in which he faces the minimum, striking out 4 along the way. For Joe Castellano and our entire NCAA.com crew, a full weekend of baseball complete. 4 games in the books. The next time we talk to you tomorrow, as it's back to the first bracket. We'll see Southern Arkansas and Point Loma tomorrow night, 6 Eastern in the winner's bracket. But first, we begin our journey tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern, back on the diamond between Rollins and UIS in our first elimination game of the day. North Greenville, 1-0. West Chester, 0-1 to begin their journeys here in Cary.